Advisory Committee. Roll call, absent with notice is Marty. Everybody else is in attendance. Thanks for coming. We need approval of the agenda. We have a recommendation that the November 19th Museum Advisory Committee agenda be approved as circulated. Dave?
Moved.
Harmony? All in favor? Passed. Any declarations of pecuniary interests?
I wouldn't say it's pecuniary,
Okay.
but I was a member of the Strathroy Art Group before. I'm not this year, but I
Okay.
was last year, so I don't know if that's a conflict with that last choice on the...
They're not representing the art group specifically, it's 3 artists.
Okay, so I just thought I'd mention it, so.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. We need a motion to approve the minutes of September the 24th as written, to be approved as written. Approved. Melanie? Ashley, all in favor? Carried. Reports. We have the courier's report. Curators report of September, October in front of you. We need a motion to receive the report for information. Ashley, seconded by Dave. We'll hand it over to you.
Maybe I should change it to curatorial report, is that easier to say?
I'm not sure.
All right, so you have the report in front of you. I'll just highlight a few things as normal. So the exhibits, Broken Promises is our traveling exhibit. We had our opening on October 10th. So far the exhibits had really wonderful turnout to it. People seem really interested. We've had one school group come, the Scouts have come, and we have another Japanese culture school from London interested in coming. We're working out a schedule for them. So that's really nice to see that we're having more engagement from the schools come up for this. And then the Sittingham Discovery exhibit was debuted at the same night on October 10th. We have 4 wonderful thriving fish thanks to the St. Clair Conservation Authority, and the new exhibit, I think it looks great, but I also made it, so therefore I'm biased. So that's doing well. We encourage everybody to come out and learn about our conservation authorities, about the fish, about the Sittingham River, and that'll be up permanently. So it'll be there forever, and you guys can come see it. Special projects, I'm sure you've heard me talk about it a lot, but I'll mention it one more time here. The Poppy Project was a renowned success, and I will be bringing a full report of everything from like all of our workshops to all of the events to any numbers that we've collected or any feedback that we've collected as well. It's not going to be included obviously in this MAC document, and I've already been talking with some people about maybe bringing it to council as well, just so that they see it more directly. But obviously we'll be giving you guys some of the stats. You will see in my report some of them. So for example, the attaching days where we had, because we had those in October, we estimate 300 to 400 hours from community members coming out to help us attach all the poppies, and that was over 6 days. It was 5 for the public, and we did have a staff day where town hall staff came out to help as well. So that you can see the breakdown of numbers. A lot of those people were returning people, and we did take an average because some people were there for a couple hours and some people were there for 8 hours total, and we had some really amazing people come out. And I think some really amazing success with a lot of our attendance. We had wonderful media coverage. I listed a couple of them there in our marketing and public relations from different news sources. We were reached out to by CTV as well. They came to do, if you remember back in March, I believe it was, they came to do a piece on when we were having our workshops and like what the project was. So unfortunately they weren't able to come out for the unveiling ceremony, but they were very excited for us. And I don't know if anyone saw it too, but the MP spoke about it as well, so it was really nice to see such recognition on all levels, from community members, from town hall staff, from our own council and support, but then also the greater. And we've had such wonderful comments like nationally as well. Because there's some people that donated from across Canada, and even internationally we had some people mail in poppies from the States, and we got support from someone in the Netherlands whose family ties are here, so it was really amazing to see the reach of that project. And it's not done. It is done for this year. Obviously, it's come down, but we only were able to attach about 4,000 poppies to the netting. So we had about 2,000 here in Strathroy and 2,000 in Mount Bridges, meaning we have another 6,000 in my office. And we would like to not waste a single poppy because the community did such amazing turnout in donating them. We'd like to continue our attaching days over the course of the winter so that next year's installation can just be bigger, more beautiful, and potentially, although we'll see what happens, maybe including Melbourne's as well. Their Cenotaph has their anniversary, their 65th anniversary next year. So it'd be nice to include them there too. So that's what's also under our events. You can see the first attaching day is scheduled for January 9th. It'll be an afternoon session and we'll be doing them over the course of next winter. Oh, and then there was also, we just decided to do it, so it's not on your events list, but I wanted to mention it. We're having gingerbread house workshops at the museum. We have 2 scheduled for December 7th, which is a Saturday at 10:30 a.m. and December 11th at 7 p.m., which is a Wednesday evening. All ages are welcome for the December 7th. The December 11th, we're thinking we'll do more an adult one, and so adults can come and enjoy making it themselves, and versus if you come up with your family, and then, you know, there'll be a lot of kids focused. So yeah, so those are on the list, but didn't actually, but I don't know, because we just decided, I think yesterday. And then it's also not on the list because it's not our event, but I would like to promote it. The Middlesex Museum Foundation is having their Christmas Carol event at the Right Place on November 29th at 7:30. So we hope that everybody comes out to support the foundation, and it sounds like it's going to be a really fun night. That's also the night with the market too, so there's a lot going on that night, and I think it'll be a great turnout. So yeah, and then the only other thing I was going to mention, under collections management,
so obviously we haven't met for our collections meeting in a few months, so we will have one more next month just to wrap up everything that was potentially donated in the last few months. There hasn't been a lot, but we do like to kind of tie things up for the end of the year. So you will be receiving an email shortly. It most likely will be the first or second week of December. And it will include a few more deaccessioned items, or possible deaccession items on the list, because we are starting to reorganize the back.
and that's it.
So I just have a quick question. I think you called it
Deaccession.
de-accession?
Yes.
What do you do with the items?
Yeah, so it's in our collections management policy. It's about a 3-step process. So the first step, we would offer it to other like organizations, so museums, historical societies, places with collections. So that would go up. The other next option is an auction. So we use Gov Deals, I believe, here in the municipality. So it would go through that. And unfortunately, if the item is to a degree like broken, damaged, deteriorated, then we would dispose of those items, ripped, torn, things like that. So those are like the 3 options for deaccessioning.
The Gov Deals, so that the municipality would auction them off.
Yes.
Would you have the opportunity to donate them to the foundation to auction?
It's not in our collections management policy to do that, but because the only people that can bid on items have to be like a third party, like you can't be associated with the museum at all. So I'm not sure if we can transfer the items to the foundation and they auction them off. That's just, we haven't really looked into that with our collections management policy.
Have you done the government auctions before though?
We did one time, because Gov Deals has only been part of the municipal situation for a couple of years. It was for our display cabinets, so it wasn't actually collections
Right.
based.
And how'd it go?
I don't think they.
I don't think they sold.
No, I don't think they sold. No. Once they were out of our building, those were not collection pieces. So those were just display cabinets. We might have the opportunity to look at other local auction houses that specifically deal with antiques, but we'd have to discuss that with the finance department and to see if we can actually utilize a different organization for that, because I know the municipality deals with gov deals.
Is the wood carving workshop up on the site yet? I was looking for it just now and I can't see it.
It's not up. We're
Okay.
having an issue with the calendar.
Okay,
That's,
cool.
that's why it's not up yet, but it's coming, I promise.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 6.1, public art exhibit. We have a recommendation that we receive the report CS 2024-55 public art exhibit, review of artists for review and information. Someone to motion to review it for information? Dave, seconded by Melanie. All in favor? Carrie. Pass for review.
I don't know if people have it in front of them, but I can share my screen, so give me a second for it to come. There we go. All right. Immediately. All right. Sorry, I was just trying to clear my screen for you guys. So as this was, this is a new process for all of us, so we'll work through it together. A couple years ago, we established or I guess it was last year, it was official, the public art policy, where we would designate a few months out of the year to host artists for a month-long art show, where we rent out the space and then the artists have more liberty to do what they would like to with the show. We put out the call in September of this year for 2 shows for next year, one being the month of March and the other one being kind of mid-August, but it'll still run for the 30 days unless otherwise discussed with the artist. For both of those time periods, and we had 10 submissions, and so that's what you're looking at tonight. And we're open. I don't want to give my recommendations before I hear all of yours, because I don't want to influence. The only thing I do want to make of note is that the application from Hillary did come in incomplete, and then by the time we got the rest of it, it was a week late. We were trying to make accommodations to help her out. So I know that other places do note when something comes in late, so I didn't in this report, but I was told to.
I know one of them has 2 in the body, but I only have 8 that are on mine.
8 applications?
Yeah.
Yours?
Yeah, like I know there's 2 in one.
Yes. So yes, Lauren and the studio.
So that would be 9, not 10.
Yeah.
Unless you've got another one. I haven't seen.
I have 10. Oh, do I miss one? Cheryl, Kristen, Dave, Hillary, Karen.
Patty's was the last one, number 8.
And Lauren is on the report. That makes 9.
Did I not send Lauren's?
I have Sherry.
application?
I have Sherry, Kristen, David, Hillary, Karen, Katie, Lauren, which is 2, and Patty.
I missed Kristen. Oh, that's my fault. I apologize. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got that one.
So you got that?
And then there was the Keeler Hurd Ross one.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have 10? Technically 9.
I
with the
think I
one-
have 9, but yeah, the studio floor, I'm
The
sorry.
studio floor and Lauren
Yes.
Houston is like 1.
I have 9 kind of subject headings of
Yes.
things that I reviewed.
Yes. So,
I don't have Kristen.
okay. So Kristen, this one? Do you have this artist?
Oh, sorry, I have, so Gillard I have, yes, sorry.
Okay.
So I have Kristen, so I don't know who I'm missing.
So you're missing Kristen. Sorry, that one was
The Box
Christine.
McCoy, yeah.
So this, so I will just briefly review this one since you're here. Dave, and I know Ally printed them all out for you. Dave, did you receive this one or no? No. Okay. So we'll just go through it really quickly. So she's a textile artist who, as you could see in the picture really briefly there, mostly works with quilt shows. So her medium is cotton, fabrics, linen, essentially quilting items. Oops, sorry, I always forget that this keeps going down. So she has, you can see there's dimensions there, so she's got the 12 by 12 wooden frame mounted quilts, and then she also has 8 by 8, so they are quite large. I assume that's all feed. They are quite large pieces. And then these are some of her examples of her box quilts. And she's put some prices on there as well. I can try and zoom in a little bit if that's, here, let me do that. Is that easier to see? Yeah.
And what galleries did she want?
She wanted B, I'm sorry. She wanted B, I believe, is
Yeah.
my note at least.
Yes, Gallery B, and she didn't specify to me March or the August show. Some artists specified if they had a preference, but she did not.
And has she previously exhibited here?
No. Apologies for not.
And then another question, how would she display something like that? Would that be her responsibility or yours?
Yes. So box quilt, like as she mentioned in there, is I believe they would be on the frame, so that to me would be quite easy to do. We do have the hanging track. I don't know, sometimes quilters have it, if it's not fully on a frame, but they have, you know, one bar at the top and then they hang it down from there on the wall. But it's up to the artist's responsibility. We provide the materials. They're the ones that then, and by the materials, I mean like what we already have. So that includes the hanging track, the chains, the hooks, command hooks. Sometimes we, like whatever we have, if they require more, it's up to them to buy that material. We also have display cases if artists need, but again, it's whatever we have. We're not going out to purchase more for them.
Okay. And do you have like a matrix, a scoring matrix, or how would you, what's in the policy about how we do this?
There's nothing specifically a scoring matrix in the policy in terms of selection. There are things that we want to consider. So just being in a public nature, we want to make sure that the content is suitable, so nothing graphic, nudity, overtly religious, those kind of parameters is really the only thing we limited it to. I know Melanie had a good question to me earlier. We didn't specify anything in the policy that also said that they had to be within our municipality, and we did have one application from outside. I would say that just they were from
Ilderton.
Thank you, Cold Street. Yeah, I would say that's still within our wheelhouse of Strathroy-Caradoc and area. If it was somebody from like Brampton, maybe we would reconsider, but we don't want to limit, like if we have, you know, let's say students from Western or Fanshawe that would like the experience to exhibit, I wouldn't want to disclude them. We can look at putting that into the policy at a later date, but for this one, since we didn't specify, we'll keep it in.
So we're looking for 2?
So we're looking for the 2 time frames. So the March time frame, and if we, let's say, have the artists Kristen and Katie, both of them want just half the gallery, so we can exhibit both of them in the time in March. Whereas the Studio Floor Creative, as well as Karen and her 3 requested the entire space, so we can only pick one of them for one or the other show. So when we look at the criteria of the artists, I know art is subjective, and therefore we will all have our own opinions on what we like and what we don't, which is why as a group we can come together what we think would be most engaging or the public would most enjoy. Things to consider would be, color. Of course, our space is quite white. So you would want, especially in that first room, maybe something that pops a little bit more to bring in people. We also want something to fill the space. So something like the quilts is quite large. It would fill the space well. But a lot of these artists have exhibited before, even if it's not with us, and have experience. So there's no one that really jumps out at me.
would be
I'm gonna
nice.
rephrase that. Most of them I don't have concerns with how they would exhibit. There are a few that I do, but I don't, again, I would like to hear everyone's thoughts before I.
Be nice to have an Excel spreadsheet.
I feel like it's gonna, for myself,
Yeah.
it's gonna be very challenging without some sort of matrix of, like, so I can see like who wants what time, if they said yes or no, whether, and then, you know, whether they've shown before,
And which galleries they
which
want.
galleries
half a
they
gallery
want,
of
what
old-
month they want.
I do, like, I made an Excel
Okay.
for myself. That's why I sent it, like, you know, so then if you needed to do something, so this
Did you
is,
send the Excel to us?
because I did it for myself, so
Okay,
I
yeah,
do.
would be helpful.
So, if this is helpful, so Dave had no preference at all, and he actually ticked off everything. These two art, 1, 2, 3, 4 have requested the first space. So Gallery A, which is the fish tank side. 1, 2 has requested this Gallery B, which is the other side. 1, 2 artists have requested the full thing, although I will say Karen and group said they prefer the whole gallery, but if it's unavailable, they're happy to take A and or B. And then the only artist that specified to me March was Kristen and Katie, and then the ones that specified August was Patty and Studio Floor. Not Lauren. Lauren's more flexible. She's just the photography side, but if we go with the Studio Floor creative proposal, where she builds a community art show, then she needs the longer time frame to.
I couldn't see any samples for the Studio Floor Creative.
No, so that one would be made. So she works at, so if you read the proposal, she works with people to use old art supplies, or use old art and reuse it.
Yeah.
So that stuff would still have to be made for the August art show. So that art show would be half of Lauren's with the photography, and the other half with what she's made with the community.
So I'm just curious how we judge when we don't have samples of what they create.
That one's a little bit more subjective, and if we're worried about that, we can just, we can say no to the Studio Floor for this time around, but we could still say yes to Lauren. Yeah, I don't have any samples. This was her and I were talking back and forth about creating the bigger show with what she does.
So maybe we should just go through each one just and get our feelings on each one before we get into kind of scheduling weeds.
So let's start at the beginning and go back to the beginning. There we go. So Sherry, so she has a lot of abstract works, and I'm just bear with me because I have to be careful. I can't scroll too far because they do have private information in here, and I just want to make sure I don't.
If it helps from my notes, I have that she's appeared at Petrolia Art in the Park,
Yes.
so some exposure in the community. She's interested in Gallery A, and she also hosts some local workshops, which could be nice to kind of give a spotlight there.
And did you see prices? I didn't see prices entered for her.
She wrote, sorry, again, I'm saying I'm gonna.
I didn't have a note for that one on this one either.
So part of what would happen is that they would sell their art and you would sell it for them, and then we take a small commission, right?
Yes, it's 10%.
10%?
So it's in the policy, what happens is that we handle all of the sales and then pay the one lump sum at the end. Minus art commission.
On your sheet to the artist, you asked for a number of things, and that was one of them,
Yes.
right? And I saw a few of them didn't have that part
Yes, some people did identify it like in an email, so you will see it in their, like, where their bio is, saying like the overall price for the exhibit is this range. But you're right, I don't see it for Sherry.
I have a question. Do you have some age frame for this exhibition in or March or in August? So, and we need to focus for this age. For example, this art very interesting, but like I don't goes deep for art, and for me it's a little bit like not closely. So I don't would like to tell about everything people like me, but our goal to make attention for people the first gallery. So for my understanding, it should to be very brightly, simple to understanding to everybody, not just for people who has some experience with the art or for everything, because high level art is just for special people, you know, for my meaning. It's I just would like to say my meaning. So for me, it's very interesting, but I don't keep my attention, for example, because it's very, very high level. For example, for this, it's very interesting, but I just look and go. It's don't put on my attention, it's don't put like in my brain. So my is a question. Do we have a frame age for people, or what kind of category for this will be art, or for everybody who will come?
Well, our patrons are very, I mean, we have such a range, from families to, oh, thank you. I keep thinking it's on. We do have such a range in our audience, because we are obviously a public open building. We are free admission. We get a lot of patrons in. That's good to note, and actually I did make a note. So March, we do see March break, right? So we would have a high number of families or children through as well. Whether or not I think that influences our decision, and I haven't spoken specifically with the artist, but maybe we then do March break programming around whatever artist. So knowing that she does do workshops, maybe we could talk to her about doing a March break program. But it also pertains to the August, because that's summer. Mid-August into late or early September, we'll get the tail end of summer, and so we'll still see a good number of traffic coming through. So from that perspective is we'll get the full range of what we normally get, not just more. I mean, we could get school visits obviously in March. With art exhibits, we tend not to unless they're the school exhibits. Obviously in the summer, we're not gonna get any school visits in the summer. So in terms of the audience for both, we'll see the full range because of March break and then also because of the summer.
So I'm just being cognizant of how we're gonna go through this. We have 9 or 10, and so when CDAC does applications, we score them privately.
Okay.
And we don't do it publicly, right? Because we don't want to offend or discourage.
What's CDAC, sorry?
Oh, Community Development Advisory Committee. So it's another committee of council.
Okay.
And we look at, like, people will, want money to do the Santa Claus parade or to do different events, want the town's support. And so they have to do an application, which comes to the members, and then the members score it. And then all that goes up at the meeting, the public meeting, is a scoring and what the recommendations are, rather than discussing.
I can see there would be,
Yeah, in detail. So I'm a little, I think we just have to be really careful about that. So I'm trying to, what I'm thinking we could do, and let me know if this would be helpful, Michelle, is we could quickly just see if anybody has any questions for you about any of the applications. That maybe we didn't get all the information, or we're not clear about, whatever our question is. And then maybe we could go away and we could just use I mean, you have the information about what month they want and how, you know, you're gonna have to organize the rooms and stuff like that. But then maybe we could just rate them 1 to 10 in terms of the ones we think would be our choices, and just give you back in private a rating, and then you could just gather the data. I don't know, I'm putting this out there, almost like a poll.
Have a closed session.
To the committee to see, I'm open to suggestions. It's just me talking on the fly here. I really didn't think this through. But just thinking that might be one way to give Michelle feedback without us, you know, sitting here criticizing people's art.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How does the committee feel about that? Ashley?
I'm content. Whatever works for everyone. I have notes. I have a top 4. I don't know if other people, if we can settle on narrowing the list in any way, but I'm content with whatever the group agrees to.
I'd like to get a parameter platform, and because you've just added another potential to it with the workshops. With the workshops. So, and then if we can go across it and say, okay, this, and we really don't have a solid number of gallery space or dates associated with secured. So you're juggling different parameters with that too. So like somebody wants half a gallery, someone wants A and B, someone wants A, someone wants B. So those are all separate things to come up with the total for those spaces.
So I will also note that we did discuss doing this in closed session, but because this does involve a transaction, we have to be transparent because they are paying for the space. So I will say we did have that discussion about closed session versus open. So having the poll system and then have that come back, I don't know.
I think you could still do the poll, but in open session, we would have to do the awarding.
Okay.
Right? I think that would cover us. Jen?
I mean, there's no reason why you can't rank them on your own.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what you're doing. You're just submitting the information, and then that can be discussed in open. It was just the conversation about the artists
But then the
not be in closed, just because it doesn't fall under the exceptions of closed, because there is a transaction that the municipality is benefiting from it as well, and they're paying to rent a space. So it doesn't fall under like personnel or anything like that. We had this discussion with the clerk. But there, I would see no reason why you can't each rank it and then submit that to Michelle.
And then Michelle can
kind of compile it together. It's just data. There is no discussion. So then you can come back to open in another meeting and discuss that spreadsheet.
So my next concern with that, and I don't have a problem with that process, is that just if we do that for this process, it means we're not going to get an answer till the next meeting, which is in January, and the artists need to know as soon as possible so that they can get, especially those that are doing the March show. So is there a way that we could do that? Like, I'm not just necessarily want to say let's have another meeting in December, but I don't know if there's a way that we can then speed up.
And it would have to be done in a meeting, is what you're saying, Jen?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd be fine with having a special meeting just to do that.
If we just, it's like my idea. Michelle said the name and who like it, yes or no. And she put how many numbers and then.
But I think that's going to be difficult because where I was struggling, Michelle, is I don't even know how many we're supposed to pick because it depends whether they want a full or a half. So, like, that's going to be really complicated for us to do. I mean, I
have some favorites for this article. I learned for them at home. And some of everybody very nice, very interesting. But somebody closer to me for some meaning, for some understanding, somebody not. If I like it, I say yes. If not, and Michelle makes how many votes, and she then describe. Okay, so for example, Mary has a 5, and George has a 4, and she looks. Mary would like to in August or March, and she can decide it or we need decided together. This.
It's just different because it's
a lot of options.
It's different than looking at bids. right? So we do the city council, right, we get like 8 bids, and the name company comes up, and we choose one. But this is different, because what Ala is suggesting is that it's very subjective about, it's not like, oh, well, they're the highest price, which is what we do in public bidding. So I feel like it is different.
We could still do the ranking system, but just like right now, just like vote, you know, yay or nay kind of thing, and then I can still compile the actual schedule. This artist wants this wants this, and you guys could still rank your top 4, let's say, and then I can take that data
Yeah, I think that's easier. So just
right now.
just for us not to even bother looking at what gallery they want, it's the art that we decide
We could do it that
which would
way.
be appropriate
Yes.
for those and for 2 separate time frames,
Yeah.
correct, for a whole month. So that would work better.
Just a quick question, maybe it will help to simplify things. How strict are people who selected Gallery A? Are most of them very set on Gallery A, or are there some who may have some flexibility? If it was, you know, we would really like to have you for March, you specified Gallery A, would you consider Gallery B? Is there a sense of?
Yes, some of them were quite flexible, and knowing some of the artists as well, I'm sure I could have a conversation with them, and we could.
Because that's, I could give a ranked 4 at any point, especially if there is kind of that leeway of, well, you know, we ended up with my top 4 all prefer Gallery A, but we could probably be able to make some wiggle room there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So do we want to, would people be comfortable, you know, if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them. I can also raise some of my concerns or thoughts in particular on anybody. And then do people feel comfortable to vote? Just top 4, like that's all you have to vote on. You don't necessarily have to worry about which gallery side they're in type thing, and I can deal with that.
So we
part.
potentially need to pick 5 people based on the spaces?
4.
4 would be the max, because we've got 2 sides to the gallery and 2 time slots, so 4 would be the max if each of them are having a half.
But okay, I thought there was like some that were doing half a Gallery A, so then that would be 2 in Gallery A. Or did I misunderstand what you said before?
No, so there's you can rent Gallery A or Gallery B. There are some like Karen, Sam, and Sarah, they as a group are renting the space, and then they divide it amongst themselves.
Okay. So top 4. And would that be for times 2? Because you're doing one in March and one in August?
Yes, so 4 max is we need to finish.
2 spots in March, 2 spots in August.
Okay. Dave?
I tend to agree with Donna. Doesn't happen often, right? There are so many variables that I would be more comfortable knowing who wants what, when. Because if you have somebody that wants A and B, that's 1 for March.
But we have all of that information right now.
Do we?
Yeah.
We do. We have all of this information. I think we're really overcomplicating it at this point. I think we can get things down a little bit easier. I don't know. Maybe I'm being the contrarian one.
If it also helps, because that's, so you have all that information in front of you, it's part of the applications. I didn't send out the spreadsheet, that was something that I just did up for myself. If it helps right now, the only one that has, so Karen, Sam, and Sarah, that group, have specified they want the whole gallery, but they will be flexible and do A or B. So we know that they're flexible already. The only other one that wanted the whole gallery would be the Studio Floor Creative, although we've already had concerns over what that would be, so maybe that's it. It's really simple. We just kind of cross that out. Everybody else just wants half. And so we have the top 4, and I know out of that top 4, this person wants March. Perfect. They get March. This person wants August. they get August. So I can go through, like, I mean, I think, in my head, it's a little more simple, but if you need more time, obviously we can do that too.
Well, back to your original point that we have to do this in open session, you're not gonna be able to compile all that and work out a schedule that we're gonna be able to approve tonight anyway. Even if we all gave you
I mean,
the
if you
top
all vote
four.
for the four same people, yeah.
You would be able to figure out whether it's gonna work?
If you all vote, if it's very clear that we have four front runners, I can say right now,
Yeah.
this person will confirm with them, like, if, let's say, we have the A/B situation, and so I can say, this person is what we'll decide is going, or we can just do it general, we'll say, these two people have been designated for March, I'll confirm with them that they're okay switching to B, and because as part of the policy, we also notify them that they have 14 days to come back to us to say no or change their mind.
Well, the group, I guess, can decide whether you want to do this now, as Michelle is suggesting, and you pick your top four, or would you rather go away, do something more confidential, and have a second meeting? Dave, you go first. I'm not gonna put up my hand and pick four for an open session. I don't have to. You don't have to. Nobody has to do it this way, even if that's what the group decides. I'm just really uncomfortable with that, but that's just me. Dave?
And I think it's confusing to me. There are so many variables and options that I'm not prepared to pick anybody either.
Melanie, would you be prepared
So-
to do this tonight?
So if we come back, are we not doing it in open session again?
We'll do the awarding, but we'll send our top four confidentially.
Okay, yeah, I prefer to do that. But is that an issue?
No, I think we can do that, right, Jen?
I
We
think
come
that
back with this
I
one.
think that should be fine.
But then we'll need to make sure that we, like, just in terms of timing, are everyone comfortable with another meeting,
It would be a short one.
you know, in a couple weeks, kind of thing?
Okay.
We'll have to look at whatever schedule is available.
Like, I could pick up my top four tonight, but I don't want to do it, I want to do it confidential.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Melanie. We'll go around the table.
Yeah, it's the same.
You want to do it tonight, or
No,
you wanna
another.
do it in another meeting confidentially? Ashley? Hi.
I'm prepared. I have my top four.
Dave, you another comment?
We have a potential collections meeting. How long do you think that may take? Rather than have two separate meetings, could we combine the two?
Yeah, we can have them on the same night, because we can have the collections meeting, because that's not obviously in this building. We can have the collections meeting at, let's say, 5:30, if whoever wants to come to that collections meeting, and then just move over here for the meeting. But again, it all depends on the timing of when we can come back into here.
Do you have the schedule, Jen, of whether this room's available? What date is that? You have the collections one? Oh, you don't have the collection one scheduled? Oh, okay, I thought it was scheduled. Alan?
I have four. I can do it today. I'm watching at home, so if it's work better, I can do it today. So we're split.
Okay, so here's another solution. You have your phone? Are you connected to the internet? Yeah. Then we'll send her an email with her top four.
Right now?
Right now?
Go for it. You can write it down and pass it over to me.
Write it on a piece of paper or email it.
Do you want me to still go through the applications just to say if I had any concerns or?
We don't have time. I mean, you can't, like,
Okay.
it's 7:15. We can't go
I
through
will
10.
just still say this. This artist, Dave, my only concern with him is his poetry is interesting, but because knowing the gentleman, I would want to make a little stipulation that we need to see the poetry ahead of time just to make sure the content is appropriate.
Okay.
So that's my only real note.
Okay, nope, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we'll just take a couple of minutes for everybody to write them down and give them to Michelle or email them or whatever. We're on 4, right?
Or did you do them in 1, 2, 3? For with this one, do you want to vote for the whole thing or half?
No?
The
Okay.
whole thing or the,
Okay.
because it's 2, so do you want this one or do you want this one? Okay.
TikTok music.
Melanie, do you mind just writing out their names? Just because in case they came up in a different order on your screen.
If I correctly understand, we just say our meanings for this artist. It's we not criticize nobody. We just learn it and we're thinking.
Yes.
So my meaning, for example, and what I thinking it will be better for community, for my side. It's not somebody bad or somebody good. No. I just
No, I
think
realize that.
Yeah.
I just worried that it could be interpreted that way and conversation could end up going that way. And I just know when we do it at CDAC, we do it more confidentially and just share scoring. So I was just really drawing from that.
No, it's a good idea.
I think this will work out fine. We'll get it all done tonight. Yay!
Michelle very happy about it.
Michelle will work there, but.
I'm good. I'm doing. So far, we do have clear.
Okay.
Definitely 3 clear. So it'll come down to.
Okay, do we have some chance it doesn't work when we vote? Michelle, if we have a chance, if we vote for pick up 4 and they doesn't work with your schedule for March and August,
We'll have to have a
what
meeting.
we will do?
Yeah, we will do.
We could just.
So she could go to the next one.
Yeah, and down the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just go to the next one.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4. Done.
Okay.
So I can send you where you are.
Microphone, please.
Yeah. So our top our top vote is Katie Dortmans. Sorry, I'm saying her name wrong. So she is the artist that works with the natural material, like the feathers and the bones, and so that's great. Then the next one that was 3, it's a tie between Sherry Loeb and Karen and Group. So that one, I guess we do have to make a decision if we would like to have Karen do the whole show and we do a combination between Katie and Cheryl for, let's say, March, and Karen and the group have, oh no, because Kristen's got 3 as well. So we have definitely a clear, Katie has 5 votes, and then Sherry, Karen and group, and then Kristen has 3 votes each, and they're the next 3 people. So, sorry, I have to sign back in.
Sorry, which one is the Karen and group? I just have last names written down.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to
Hassan,
flag it.
Yellow. Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So Sherry is the abstract artist, and then not Christian. Yes, Karen then. So this is the Karen group. And then Katie was our top, everybody voting for her. And then so the quilts would be then. So one thing we can talk about right now is so I know Katie wanted March So since she was our top, we'll offer her the March Gallery A spot. And so then we'll just pick another March, what would complement that or become more of a show between the quilts, the abstract. And then we have to decide if Karen, we would like to offer the group the full gallery or just half. Because she did say that they were flexible. So we could offer it to all four and see if they're okay with Gallery A or B, or we could offer it just to them.
I like the Katie Dortmans and the quilts pairing myself. I think it's kind of interesting having two not paintings, like different kind of materials, different kind of media. And Kristen prefers B, so that kind of works well for the March one because Katie preferred A, I think.
Yes, Katie did prefer it. Yeah. Crystal, I was just saying, so since Sherry, Karen, and Kristen all tied, I think that we could offer Karen and just the half. And just so then that way it's fair since all three of them tied. And I don't think Karen wanted so Sherry. Yeah. We could offer, since Karen, Sam, and Sarah wanted the whole gallery, we could offer them Gallery A because it's slightly bigger. And then we'll confirm with Sherry that she is comfortable with B. So August will then be a heavier painting show because we've now selected both artists are all painters. Painted artists. They're all painters. And then the March show will be the mixed medium show.
And then maybe that could tie in with summer camp stuff, August, painting kind of stuff. Yeah.
Workshops in March break.
Yeah.
For mixed media.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need a motion that we'll make a motion that the recommendations provided by the committee for scheduling of artists for the March and mid-August public art exhibits to be held in the gallery. We'll direct staff to contact them and confirm. Someone to bring the motion. Alice? Seconded. Okay. Melanie. All in favor?
Can I do it?
I know you wanted to. You were looking at me. Okay, that's awesome. Volunteer policy review. We have a motion to receive report CS 2024-52, volunteer policy report for information. Motion to receive the report for information. Ashley, seconded by Ala. All in favor? Carried. And back over to you, Michelle.
This is the same policy we saw last time. It just has the changes. It's just for approval. If anybody obviously caught anything, still happy to make any changes necessary, but we discussed this last time.
Any feedback or comments about the policy? Seeing none, I guess then you're okay to go ahead with that. Next, inquiries or comments by members. Anybody have anything for the committee that you want to discuss tonight?
Just a compliment for the good job with the poppy. That was an awesome project, and I really think it helped bring communities together, both legions and then, Strathroy-Caradoc, now Bridges. But they were all sort of balanced in there, so that was lovely. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a perfect start. And next year we make more weight, and maybe next year it's a little bit goes for something huge, and everybody knows where the located is Strathroy, even in the world.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 21st at 6:30 p.m. And we need a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Dave?
January
21.
Yeah.
Ashley, all in favor? Carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. See you in January.
Yeah.
New Year.